Okay, so there's a question here, a comment, and I think I get what you're saying here. Probably relating to the modulus or the absolute of x minus 1. So here's what's happening. Let me just pause this. Here's what's happening. So if you have absolute of x minus 1, if x minus 1 is more than 0, in other words, if x is more than 1, let's look at what happens. You would have the absolute of, let's say, 3 minus 1 or 6 minus 1 or 2 minus 1. These are all numbers more than 1. Actually, it could equal 1 as well. 1 minus 1, for example. This would be the absolute of 2, the absolute of 5, the absolute of 1, the absolute of 0, which is still 2, 5, 1, and 0. In other words, if x minus 1 is more than or equal to 0, the absolute doesn't do anything. The absolute of x minus x minus 1 is still x minus 1, as long as x is more than or equal to 1. Now, what about the opposite? What about if x minus 1 was less than 0? Or in other words, x was less than 1. And I don't want to include the 0 this time because I have it in the other situation. So let's say x is less than 1. So for example, it could be like 0 minus 1, or minus 6 minus 1, or minus 2 minus 1. That would be the absolute of minus 1. That would be the absolute of minus 7. And that would be the absolute of minus 3. And that would become 1, that would become 7, and that would become 3. In other words, it'd be the opposite sign of x minus 1. In each of these cases, x minus 1, let's look at what the first one would be. That would be 0 minus 1. That would be minus 1. And when you make it an absolute, it becomes positive 1. And likewise here, x minus 1, that would be minus 7. And x minus 1 here, that would be minus 3. But then that becomes 1, 7, and 3. In other words, the sign is flipped. So instead of having x minus 1, you would have minus x minus 1 as the answer. So the absolute of x minus 1 would equal minus x minus 1, which I think that's what you're asking me. Now, maybe I made a mistake. Did I write plus? If so, that's my mistake. It's should be minus, unless I was expanding here and writing that as minus x plus 1, but still that's not matching up with what you're saying. So I'm just wondering, is this your typo or mine? I hope it's not mine, because then I'd have to redo this, wouldn't I? Let's see. But I guess actually not, because I'm using the ABS function in Excel. So I'm not precisely sure where exactly you're referring to here. Maybe it's some later question. Some later question, perhaps. Maybe not. You can let me know. Hopefully this video helped you out.